Good morning, good afternoon, depending upon when you're listening to this. I'm Shankar Meembat from the Alternative Board here at Milton Keynes. Today I'd just like to talk to you a little bit about decision making. All of us make decisions all the time, some major decisions quite often. And we depend upon data in order to make those decisions. But here's something that I've learned over the time. It is much better to be approximately right rather than accurately wrong. Yes, I know it's an oxymoron, or actually a couple of oxymorons. However, let me explain what I mean. As I was working at Nokia, we used to use extensive Excel models to model our customers' requirements. And it was a reality that quite often, once the customer has implemented a solution, we'd find that it's pretty accurate with where the models were. But then there were quite a few occasions, given the number of parameters that go into the model, that we would make a wrong assumption. And when we do that, what a good data model means actually is it could be way off from what we intended. And that's what led me to the conclusion that it's so much better to be approximately right rather than accurately wrong. It's much more important that while data is important to making our decisions, it's even more important to understand what the impact of those data points are on the decision that we would make. So rather than go for an extensive 100% conclusion on a data, you should be looking at maybe something like 20% input of the data and 80% based on your experience, on your gut, on what you understand the rest of the parameters to be. And that's what makes a good decision from a bad decision. You want to know what the impact of data would be rather than whether the data itself is accurate, because especially when you're dealing with predictions, data is never accurate. So here's again how to look at data when you're making decisions. One, yes, I agree, data is important. You need to collect as much information and data points as you can. But second, look at what the variation of any of those data points would do to the overall results of outcome of the decision. And lastly, use your gut to balance the data with your own experience, with experience from other people. So at the end of the day, be approximately right. Know where you are in the ballpark before you make the decision, rather than try to be accurate to an extent where you could get to be accurately wrong. Thank you. This is Shankar Meembat from the Alternative Board at Milton Keynes.